Thank you. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our speaker, who is also wonderful in her own way. Many of you know her, and you know that she spends a great deal of time making contact with members here or people that need a visit at home. She's very good about that. She started off in her career as a pediatric nurse and did that for about 22 years until she met me, and I dragged her away from Riley Hospital in Indianapolis, and we went to Sedona because we were going to make love with that red rocks over there. And we did that for 2 years, but realized that's hard to do that for more than 2 years. So we came here, and we love it here. All right. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Our speaker is Reverend Dr. Karen Rader, and I think she's wonderful too.
Thank you, Richard. Are we on? I have my microphone. Can you all hear me?
Is your battery plugged in?
Well, I did go, I have to confess, I went to the bathroom. So, you know, it's difficult with all this. Okay, we got this all practiced a while ago. And I've been told by my Toastmaster coach, just have fun, so we're having a good time.
The weird thing is that it should be working, so let's do the hand. Lots of ghosts in the machine today, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna use that, we're gonna use that.
So, do we want to
Oh,
use
there.
it now?
There we go,
Okay.
now you are live.
Can you just put it in my little... I can't talk today.
This is awful. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should.
Well, good morning, everyone. And thank you for coming dressed up and in your best garb and in your fun and in just your authentic selves. Coming just as you are in your uniqueness is a gift here. And we welcome all the people out there in internet land. We know that we're all together and there really are no boundaries. We just think they're there. So as we remember our connection, we can feel the gratitude, and I want to thank everybody that makes this service happen. I may be speaking, but I wouldn't be up here and you wouldn't be hearing me if it hadn't been for all the volunteers that do different things on the camera, in the sound booth, the music. There is just so much going on here, and I'm really, really grateful. So Halloween, I just was curious and had to look it up. Where did that start? And it was in the Celtic family and culture, so Celia would do it so well, and she did a concert, and the title of back then was Samhain, was the festival that they had in the Celtic tradition. So it was first All Hallowed Eve, and then it became Halloween, and now it's a little bit of everything. And tomorrow is All Saints' Day, and then there is Dia de los Muertos coming soon too, and the joyful remembrance of those who have died. And I love that in the Mexican tradition. It's so beautiful, and some of you could teach me about it. I'd love to know more. And They often believed back in those days that the veil was so thin, that this was the time of year to commune with people on the other side. And so, wow, they would dress as saints and go trick-or-treating. And there were even saints that just were made-up saints. So I just want you to know, in my opinion, you all are saints. And I love coming here and looking out to see you. So the month of October, here at the Center for Spiritual Living, our theme has been going further together. And we've heard about the power of we, about the dreaming ourselves into being, about the divine community, and about taking spiritual principles deeper. So then what am I going to speak of the fifth Sunday of the month? And my choice is I'll Meet You There. You might have seen that title. And something might have come for you around that title. What does it mean for you? I'll meet you there. We want to meet in a fun place. We want to meet in a safe place where we can all be our full, creative, and authentic selves. Rumi, the 13th century Persian Sufi poet, said, "Out beyond wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there." And that's where we all want to be, in that open, safe field. And there may be different interpretations of what that field is, but to me it's a place where we can be loving and authentic and living our truth, where we can be fully present to each other, even when we disagree or see the world differently and have different glasses. And I used to think people saw the world like me often. But are you noticing? A lot of people see it differently, and just mention vaccines, and you will get an array or masks or whatever, and now we're all wearing masks, and it's okay today. But I often thought that we all could see the world the same, but we don't. And it's so important that we listen to each other. And Don Miguel Ruiz, in his book, The Fifth Agreement, talks about that. That's the study book, right? This month that we're using here at the center, The Fifth Agreement. So anyway, it's about be skeptical and listen. It's okay to listen, be curious. So I was trying to think of a story of what this would mean to me personally, because those personal things really help us to get it, you know? And I remembered years ago, I went to the movies and saw that movie, Fried Green Tomatoes. How many people have seen it? It's a sweet one, isn't it? I think I want to see it again. I can't remember exactly what it was. But on the way out of the theater, there was a big backlog of people. And I look up, and there's a lady who has her walker, and she is creeping out of the theater, and everybody's trying to get around her. Now, I'd like to say that I went first to loving kindness, but I went first to hurry up, we got to get out of here. How are we going to, there's a fire, you know? I mean, my mind was going and going, and then I recognized, where am I allowing my mind to go? And all the time, I can recognize, where am I allowing my mind to go? So I paused and thought, I could maybe even help her. So I scurried up there and put my arm out and said, can I help you go out? And we kind of went to the side, and the herds of people went flowing out of the theater. And I looked into her eyes. She looked up at me, and I could see the soul in her. I could see the beauty in her, just like the song. And she had tears, and this movie reminded her so much of her son who had died. And apparently that grief was very fresh. And so she just needed to tell somebody. And we sat out in front of the theater, and I listened to her story. And it was the most tender thing. I'll never forget Rose. In fact, we became friends. And I would actually go to visit her at the assisted living community place where she lived. And she often invited me to visit. And I kind of wished I had followed up on her invitation to study Torah, because I didn't know anything about Torah. I didn't grow up in the Jewish tradition. But what I learned was she taught me to recognize, to pause, to realign with who I am, and then go forward in a way that is loving and kind. And I'll never forget her. It was really quite wonderful. And so we get these opportunities. They're little tiny moments all the time. And I forgot my little props. Would you bring me that bag, please? So for those of you who know me, you probably think I look like I know what I'm doing all the time and I've got it together. But quite honestly, I don these. And I have to do the halo assessment to see what's showing up here. Is it this or is it that? It's a wonderful, fun way for me to just even think about it. And so for Halloween, I had to have some kind of prop, a new way. And Richard would be able to tell you stories, I'm sure. And I've done way worse than running over somebody on the way out of a theater. But I can and you can remember who you are. We are universal beings. We are our true self all the time. We just forget, and that's why we have community. We have Sangha to remind each other, who are we really? And I just really loved Sharon's meditation this morning when she said, humanity is the candle of spirit. We are the candle of spirit. Jesus said, you are the light of the world. And when I read about the Buddha, when he was dying, his last moments, his last words on his breath that he said, his followers were all around him. And they said, oh, Buddha, who is going to teach us? Who now is going to show us the way? And he said, be the light that you are. Be your own light. And we forget, but we can be our own light. And when it's tuned down, and this is what I will sometimes use my imagination. Imagination is awesome to use. And to just realize my light's a little tuned down, I'm going to tune it up. So I'll tell you another story. When I was in grade school, I had these on a lot. I had to stay after school. I had to write why I must not chew gum in school, why I must not talk. I would lose my homework and sometimes even the book bag that I carried the homework in. So that was difficult. And then in the 4th grade, the teacher came to me and said, we need somebody to be an angel in the pageantry with our first communion. And I thought, finally, somebody sees who I really am. And I know I'm an angel. And so I really, really, really wanted to not wear that. I wanted to wear the angel. No. And we can all be whatever we want. The important thing is to love ourselves just the way we are. So if I'm feeling a little devilish, a little mischievous and getting into trouble, and I won't tell you those stories, or if you are, you can pause. You can recognize where you're thinking. You can pause and say, what do I really want to think today? And then you can realign with spirit and the true self. So that's the invitation for you today. And I wonder if anyone else has been listening to the Oneness Summit with Greg Braden and the many wonderful teachers, Neil Donald Walsh, so many are have had this summit, and it was easy to miss because you could hear it free for like 8 days, and now it's gone, or you can pay for it. But I try to listen to those often. And one of the recent workshops that I listened to, and Greg Braden will be getting a huge award for his humanitarian work in our culture, in our world, and he studies ancient religions and brings them together and talks about how it makes such a difference. Well, he was talking today about the universe, and I had to re-listen to a little podcast this morning. It kind of touched my heart. To the universal self that we are and how connected we are to everybody. What we don't remember is we think we're here right now. We think what we're doing is important, but it is our little importantness that does it uniquely the way we do, and there isn't anybody else that can do it just like you, and it makes a difference. There is room and opportunity for great hope right now in our world, even though it looks crazy. But maybe, I thought, maybe it's just like me, and it's growing up and trying to learn through all its mistakes. And giving it the room to do that can be difficult. I'm not saying that we need to bypass. We have to do what is ours to do to make the world a better place. And at the same time, our vision and how we say it and how we message it out is incredibly touching around the world. We think we're just here. No way. We are here, and when we remember it and send that love, it is embracing this entire planet, and it's more than just the planet. The universe is out there, and we are in there because it's not separate. We have thought we were separate. So let's come together and know we don't have to be separate anymore. And when I forget, please remind me, just give me the nudge. And I might need a little more talking to than that, but you can do that for me, and I would appreciate it deeply. So, what do I want to share? Out beyond what I appear to see in you and what you appear to see in me, there is a field, and I'll meet you there. And what Braden says is that field is that essence that encompasses everything. And here we call it often God, we call it divine love. It is here and it's everywhere, and we have that amazing opportunity to see it and to receive it. So I would like to invite you into your heart space. If you would just close your eyes or softly gaze for a moment. This is a message from Ernest Holmes and Karen. I kind of mixed us together. But you'll know his words. There is a power for good which is responding to me and bringing into my experience everything that is necessary to my unfoldment, to my happiness, to my peace, to my health, and to my success. I know there is a power for good that enables me to help others and bless the whole world. So I say quietly to myself, there is one life. That life is God. That life is my life, and that life is perfect in my life now. I am daily guided so that I shall know what to do under every circumstance, in every situation. Realizing I am one with all people, I affirm that even if they disagree, I can see the light in them. I affirm that the silent power flowing through me and others blesses, heals, and prospers this entire world. Realizing the world is made up of people like me, I bless it and affirm that it comes under divine government and the divine providence of love and divine leadership. So with gratitude and joy, I release the word to the law and know it is done. And remember, out beyond what I appear to see in others and what others appear to see in me is our divine potential. And I know it's good and it's blossoming and blooming. And we let it be in full expression and be curious of how it unfolds. So we breathe in, feel it grounded, and take this with us the rest of the week. So this is our spiritual mind treatment to take with us, to know we are one with that divineness, and we are living it every single moment, no matter what we put on our little heads, no matter how crazy we act at times, we can be the light. And you are stardust, and I see your light, and you're so beautiful. Thank you. Namaste. Yeah. Okay. I'll sit here.
Thank you, Karen. I'm trying to decide which one of those hats you'll make me wear when we go home.
You all probably knew this, didn't you?
Careful, there's no hair up there. Okay. This is a time in our service where we give back to the center for what the center's given us. And so I will remind you I figured out 3 ways in which you can donate. And there's a sparkly box outside in the foyer where you can put your donations, or you can donate online to www.cslprescott.org/give. And the third way is you can donate by text, by texting the number 844-917-1240.